right, it is 5:30 and we start on time. So, Tim is going to bring up a QR code. Where is it? Is it up? Is it this little tiny QR code?
Or you can type in that website too.
There we go.
Yeah, if everybody could take your phones. This is confession time. This is, what do you call it? Anonymous confession. Mario's got a football going on. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8. No, still 7 people. Who are the old guys in the room that can't? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. Do you need to hand your phone to a youngster? Or you can cheat off the demo. Did you get your name?
Yeah, he says he got it.
Got it. Are you in? You don't, just go. Let's go. Don't worry about avatars. Are you in? All right, start. You get 1 minute to answer the question. Look at your device. Which is the Rule 2 definition of a muff? Does it automatically 10 answer before the minute? It does.
Yeah, we got 9.
One more? Okay. So, good job. I'm not going to ask for the person who missed it. You know who you are. You can hang your head in shame. You can put one hand out like this and slap the back of your hand. I'm giving you these questions on purpose because I have taken the 80-question true-false test and it is fairly difficult. So we're going to talk about how to successfully pass that test, but the punchline is I have bugged the crap out of you guys over the last probably 2 months to ask you to get into the books, to do the online training, to take the quizzes. Some of you have not complied. I'm not going to call you out, but we're not doing this to be punitive or to make you feel bad about yourselves. We're doing this because the players and the coaches and the parents are working their butts off, and we need to do the same. So this cannot be where we go to Honings and we buy the gear and then we walk onto the field and we give ourselves permission to be mediocre. So I'm a very positive person. I can be sarcastic, but don't let my sarcasm or when I say I hate you, I'm just saying that to try to be funny. I don't think I'm funny a lot of the time. But know that Randy and Dean Tim and I and Eric want the very best for you. We truly do. And we're going to kick you in the butt if you need to be kicked in the butt so that you can be excellent on the field, if that is acceptable. All right, so the loss of player possession other than by handing, passing, or legal kick is the definition of a fumble. A fumble is something that the team A player does not want to do. So what has to precede a fumble? A P word. Possession, right. This is where you make your big bucks. If there's a scrimmage kick and the team R player, you have to decide, did he possess it and then fumble, or did he muff it because he never possessed it? What is an intentional act of slapping or striking the ball with the arm or hand? What is that? Batting. And I put these in on purpose. So what is the key word? Intentional. So if you are trying to recover the ball and you strike it unintentionally with your hand, what is that called? You're trying to recover the ball, it's grounded, there's a big scramble, and you strike, it's called a muff. You muff the ball. What is an intentional striking of the ball with the knee, lower leg, or foot? What is that? What's the key word? Intentional. So when players go after the ball and one player unintentionally hits the ball with his foot, he has not kicked the ball. Because we need to use by rule language when we talk to coaches. And a coach will say, he kicked the ball, that's a foul. And I will say, coach, by rule, you always want to say by rule, kicking is an intentional act. In my judgment, the player struck the ball with his foot. Well, that's a kick. Coach, no. If I use the word kick, that is an intentional act. The player did not kick the ball. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Next question. Oh, we do get a leaderboard. Okay. Question number 2. Which statement is true? And the third one should say, even if there is no contact. Oh, it is? Oh, you're so smart. Thank you. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. All right, everyone has answered. Okay. And oh, by the way, these questions are intentional. You will see these questions again. Why will you see these questions again? Because I love you. I love you and I want you to be successful. So pay attention to these questions. Put them in your gonculator for later. After the ready for play and the snapper touches the ball, can he remove? No. Now if he has both hands on the ball, can he take one hand off? Yes. Can you take one hand off, put it back, and take the other hand off? Yes.
Slowly.
He cannot simulate a snap. If the snapper goes and he puts the hand on the ball's been marked ready for play, he puts the hand on the ball and the quarterback goes, huddle up! And he removes his hand and runs back. By rule, what is that?
Illegal snap infraction.
It's a snap infraction, but in a 7th grade game or 8th grade or C squad or JV, you're going to flag it?
Ejection.
No, we're going to talk about putting money in the bank. What I would expect is the wing on that sideline to turn to the coach and say, Coach, what just happened is a foul. Your snapper is not allowed to put his hand on the ball and then remove his hand. And what you've done is put money in the bank so that you can then make a withdrawal later, and the coach can't accuse you of being against his team. Defensive pass interference results in an automatic first down. Is that true?
No.
No, it is not. Used to be, but it is not an automatic first down. Personal fouls are not an automatic first down. Why will coaches think that is true?
Because of the yardage.
Say it loud.
Because of the yardage, because they get 10 yards, but it's based off the placement of the ball initially, then you mark it off from there. So if it's a 20-yard and they get 15, they still got 5 yards to go.
Right, so it's a 15-yard penalty, DPI is 15 yards, but why might they think a personal foul or defensive pass interference is an automatic first down?
NFL?
They see it on TV. They see it on TV in college and the NFL. So a good answer to the coach is, Coach, this is Friday night. The NFHS, by rule, it is not an automatic first down. Now, yardage, as Devin said, yardage could result in a first down, and often does. But it's not an automatic first down. There are 4 fouls that are automatic first downs, and all 4 fouls begin with what word? Roughing. Roughing the passer. Roughing the kicker. Roughing the snapper. Roughing the holder. Did you say holder? Sorry. Cheater.
I waited. I paused.
Yes, you did. You waited for a microsecond. Okay. Hindering an opponent's vision used to be defensive pass interference. But that was changed about 10 years ago.
Yeah, roughly.
Long time ago. Back during the white knickers.
No, it wasn't that.
If there is no contact, the defender can wave his arms, can hinder as long as there's no contact. That is not a foul. You guys all knew that. Now this is purposeful. Players are ineligible to catch a forward pass. There are two categories or 2 statements that make a player, let's say, eligible. A player to be eligible to catch forward pass must be
The end man on the line.
must be
The end man on the line.
on the line at the end of the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. That's one. So eligible by position or eligible by number. And what are those numbers? 0 to 49, 80 to 99. You cannot declare, like in the NFL, you can't have number 77 go onto the field to declare that he's eligible.
Mark, can I nitpick for a second?
Yes.
You said or. It's and.
And, not or. Okay, very good. All right,
So if,
next.
Position and number.
Position and number.
Position and number,
So
right.
if middle
Thank you,
line-
Tim.
If middle linebacker is 52 and he's also a backup tight end and the starter gets hurt,
He's got to change his jersey number. Or he can be on the field,
You'd just be able to.
he's just ineligible by number. So it's okay to be on the field, it's okay to have number 52 in the backfield.
and block.
He just cannot catch a forward pass, even if the forward pass is completed behind the line of scrimmage. Now, he could, and I saw Valor Christian came down and played Palmer for some reason when Christian McCaffrey was at Valor, and I was on Valor's sideline, and the coach says, we're going to take our tackle, and he's going to be on the end of the line, and then at the snap, he's going to back up, and then he's going to catch a backward pass. It's like, why in the world would you do something crazy like that? And he did it, and he lost like 8 yards. In that game, Christian McCaffrey scored 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then he sat out the rest of the game. And he was still the player of the year in Colorado. Next question.
I have something to add to that.
Go ahead.
So, for most, I won't say all, but for most sub-varsity games, they don't have necessarily all legal numbers for the receivers, especially park and rec, freshmen. So a lot of times we'll have pregame discussions about ineligible receivers, and we don't call this at all levels. Okay, because they don't have all the huge amount of jerseys to where they can give everybody a legal number to be an eligible receiver. So just remember that, because you will see that in park and rec, and you will see that in freshmen, sometimes in JV games.
Yep.
Or they'll have the situation Brian was talking about where the middle linebacker is the running back. And then
Yeah.
Yeah.
you roll, so.
Good point. Okay, question number 3. K81 is the first to touch a free kick in flight. No team or players near the ball. Isaiah, you are so smart. He walks in, he gets all set up, and he participates. 20 seconds. Seconds. 5 seconds. 2 people did not answer. Okay.
I have a question before you get started. You did put yardage.
I didn't put yardage.
Yes.
What? Okay. Talk loud so everybody can hear
You
you.
didn't put yardage, so like, is it the 10 yards matter or?
So let's talk about that.
Scrimmage kick or free kick?
So there's a free kick. So what is another word for free kick?
Kick on.
Kickoff. Where do we kick? From what yard line do we kick without any fouls?
40.
The 40, the K40. So you have 11 Team K players all lined up, and you have 11 Team R players. What is Team K's restraining line? The K40. What is Team R's restraining line? Midfield or the 50-yard line. The free kick is touched in flight. All the Team R players all fell down, and they're laying on the ground, and the Team K player touches the kick in flight. What is that?
Kick catching.
Kick catching interference, 100% of the time. Team K cannot in any circumstance touch a free kick in flight. Now in college, could Team K? Yes. Yes, they could. So those of you that answered no foul, the 6 of you need to not watch college football anymore. All right? So will the coach think that he's okay sometimes? Yes. Because he saw it last week and it wasn't a foul. So what I would say, coach, in high school, by rule, the kicking team cannot touch a free kick in flight. Now, we're going to talk about scrimmage kicks. The rule is different for scrimmage kicks. But a free kick cannot be touched by Team K in flight.
And this is the same on a declared onside kick?
I'm sorry?
Same on a declared onside kick?
A Team K player cannot touch a free kick in flight. Period. No circumstance. Never.
Okay.
Okay? We'll talk about 10 yards. We'll talk about when Team K can legally possess the ball on a free kick. Okay, next question. Now let's see who is in front. Travis, Thomas, and Steve. Oh, no. Shane, Rich, and Ready for Bed. Whoever Ready for Bed is. Okay. 3rd and 2 from the A28. A32 is hitting fumbles at the A30, so he fumbles behind the line of scrimmage. I'm sorry, beyond the line of scrimmage. The ball rolls out of bounds at the A33, so it goes forward and out of bounds. The next snap will be from, you have one of two choices. By the way, this is a purposeful question. You will see this kind of question again. Why did I put this question in this quiz? Why? Better answer. What's the better answer?
You didn't know it.
Because I love you. I love you. You need to know it. One person needs to answer. Who hasn't answered yet? Okay, there we go. Okay. One person. I don't want you to self-identify.
It will show up next spring.
Last year, we had a rule, was it last year or the year before? Last year we had a rule change. I'm not even going to tell you about what happened in the past. You don't need to worry about that. If a ball is fumbled, you must throw a beanbag to mark the spot of the fumble. If the ball is fumbled. Because, hey Tim, if the ball goes out of bounds forward and out of bounds, we bring the ball back to the spot of the fumble, and for all intents and purposes, it's as if the ball was never fumbled. It was just downed at the spot of the fumble. So, if the ball is fumbled backward and out of bounds, then where do we spot the ball? Where it went out of bounds. And the clock is stopped. And the snap, it'll next be on the snap. The clock will next start on the snap. But when the ball is fumbled in the field of play and it goes forward and out of bounds, we bring the ball back to the spot of the fumble and we pretend like the ball was down there, so we will wind the clock. Does anybody have any questions about that rule? A forward fumble out of bounds. Now, if the ball is fumbled forward and it's recovered in bounds, there is no 4th down fumble rule like in college. Any player can recover that ball. In college, that is not a true statement. So if A33 fumbles the ball and the ball goes forward and it goes beyond the line to gain and his teammate falls on the ball, they have earned a 1st down. Any questions? Okay, good. Next, last one. Okay, Shane, rich guy, ready for bed. This is the last question. So it's 4th and 15 from the R45. R22 muffs the scrimmage kick at the R5. So that's 5 yards in front of the goal line. The ball rolls into the end zone where K18 and R22 simultaneously recover it. Simultaneous recovery. What is your ruling? No grimaces, Brian. Only stoicism. You will see a question similar to this on your quiz. It's kind of dirty pool, but oh well. What happened to our 11th person? Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, we got a little spread here. Okay, so a free kick or a scrimmage kick that crosses Team R's goal line is, what is it? A touchback. As soon as the ball crosses Team R's goal line, the result of the play is A touchback. What did R22 not do?
Possess the ball.
He did not possess the ball. What is the status of the ball when it crosses Team R's goal line? It is still a kick. It's a loose ball, but the status is still a kick. And when a kick crosses Team R's goal line, what is it? A touchback. The fact that RK18 and R22 simultaneously recover it is a non sequitur, because the ball is dead as soon as it crosses the goal line. Those two players are going to jump on it, they're going to fight, they're going to roll around, they're going to be mad at each other, and the ball is dead. They're fighting over a dead ball. So the outcome is already done. Now let's say the ball was in the field of play just for teaching purposes, and the ball's kicked, it's a scrimmage kick or a free kick, and Team K and Team R simultaneously possess the ball.
Team R.
Who gets the ball? Team R. If Team A player fumbles the ball and Team A and Team B simultaneously possess, who gets it?
Team A.
Team A. So Team R gets the kicks, Team A gets the non-kicks. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this surprises officials, and we have videos of, and I have one in our training, where the ball's kicked from the K40 and it's muffed into R's end zone, and a Team K player jumps on it and the referee does this. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Any questions?
If he had possessed it and then fumbled.
So if R22 did possess it, then the status is now what kind of a play when R22 possesses the ball? Turns into a running play. And then if R22 is hit and fumbles, can Team K pick it up and run it into the end zone?
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's why you get paid the big bucks to determine if the ball was muffed, never possessed and muffed, or was it possessed and fumbled. And when in doubt, the ball was never possessed and muffed. Because we're going to talk later about how Team K cannot advance a kick. They can legally possess the ball, they cannot advance a kick. Any questions? Okay, let's see who won. Who won? Champion Rich. Does he get at least a golf clap?
How about those second and third place guys?
No, you gotta win. What did Ricky Bobby say?
If you hit first, you'll last.
Yeah, baby!
Hello, that's.
All right, so let's move on. Do you want to talk yet, or should we wait for the break?
Let me talk.
Okay, our boss, everybody boss.
Devin, you had responded about the clinic that's coming up in Greeley, and he needs to know if you want to do that or not tonight.
Okay.
If you don't, that's fine. He just needs to know.
Okay.
So what I want to talk to you guys about is that very thing. There's a clinic in Greeley. We do it just about every year, and it's an officiating clinic, and it's really designed for rookies, people maybe with a year experience or less. But we get guys all the way up to playoff level officials that come to this clinic, and we have leaders from all over the state that are teaching us, teaching you guys officiating, and we're up there with 8 to 10 football teams that are there to do a camp at Greeley. So you're getting live snaps, you're getting instruction both in the classroom and on the field. It's really a great opportunity. So here's the catch. It's Sunday in Greeley and it's Monday. If you could only go for Sunday, that would be fine because you'd get a lot of instruction and you get a lot of snaps. Ideally, you stay overnight and you do Sunday and Monday. For new guys, the cost is $200 for this. And then if you actually go to the camp, they'll give you $100 back. So it'll cost you $100. So here's the other catch. He's got to turn numbers in tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock because they do food. It includes all of your food. It includes your overnight, all that stuff. So it's a great opportunity, and it'll only cost you $100 if you can do it. You know, get off work or whatever. So it's July 19th and 20th. So that's Sunday, Monday, July 19th and 20th. If you want to go to that, when we get a break here, let me know, and I will give you the number of the guy that's running the clinic. You can text him. He'll get in contact with you and make sure that you get all the information and that you get paid. Okay? So at the break, if you want to do that, let me know. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, we are going to kind of go power. The AHA slides took a little bit longer than I thought, but I hope you learned something new. I hope it was valuable. So we're going to go fast-ish. If you need to stop me, again, if you have a question and you sit there and you don't ask the question, this is the Mark Bradley, the evil Mark Bradley, you're being a coward. Raise your hand and say, stop. Because if you have the question, it is probably true that other people have the same question, and you are actually being brave. Because they're too cowardly to ask the question, right? So let's see who can be first asking the good question. All right, let's move on. We talked about this last week. I need you to be the rules expert in the room and have that mindset while at the same time accepting the fact. Oh, thank you. I wasn't doing my job. Accepting the fact that you are a new official and you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room right away. You just have to be the smartest guy in the room the next day. So please work your butt off. And as I told you, I sit ready to go, and Steve emailed me, and I emailed him back, didn't I? And I like to do that kind of thing. So if you come up with a question, email me. That's probably the best way. I don't do texting very well. I do email better. So you can say, hey, I was reading the rules book, or I was reading the writing study guide. Here's my question. And I will respond to you as soon as I can. You're going to be on the sideline. It's okay to tell the coach, Coach, that's a great question. I'll get you the answer as soon as I can. You don't stop the game to get the answer, but you wait for a timeout, you wait for a change of possession, you wait for a quarter, and you get the answer. Okay? We talked about the Reading Study Guide. A couple people asked, how do I study the rules? And I think the Reading Study Guide kind of provides color, and it provides scenarios, true, false questions. I would say study the Reading Study Guide with a highlighter, with a pen, write in it. I would say have a notebook, and if you read something that doesn't make sense, write it down and then send me an email. Your test. What is the date of our last in-person training session? The 21st. Okay. What I want you to do, and I need everybody to write this down, I need you to go to CFOAonline.com. Charlie Foxtrot Oscar Alpha, CFOA, Colorado Football Officials Association. CFOAonline.com. You will register on that website, and you will use that website to do your testing. You are responsible, by the way, all of the veterans that have some years under their belt, your crew chief may want to use you in a playoff game. I want everybody in this room to take the 80-question true-false test. So Tim, I lied. I need you to take the 80-question true-false test. If you're a veteran, you've worked X number of years, you still must pass the 80-question true-false test. Then you get drafted onto a crew, and your crew chief will say, I need you to also take the playoff test. Okay? And Randy, we're going to have everybody take the mechanics test as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay, which is kind of a party foul in my opinion, but I will help you succeed. You all have a mechanics manual. The mechanics are brand new to you, so you're going to have to take a test in Chinese right away. But that's how we're doing it this year. CFOAonline.com. I want you to register for that immediately, and then let me know if you have any problems with registration. You aren't going to take the test until we complete the July 21st class. And then you have from July 21st to July 27th to pass the 80-question test. It is a difficult test. So I would carve out time purposefully right now. Take a day off from work if you have to. Tell your wife or your significant other that you can't go to Chuck E. Cheese that night or whatever. And you've got to carve out, I would say, 4, 5, 6 hours to take this test, because I would like you to look up every single rule, and you may not be able to find that stupid rule in the rules book. So I will be available if you want to email me and say, Mark, here's the question. I cannot find this. If you held a gun to my head, I can't find it. Can you help me? And then I will say, look in Rule 752. Okay? So I want you to look up the rule to answer the question. If you pass, you pass. If you fail, you will take it a second time. You will only get the questions that you failed. Remember what I told you is you've got to note all of the questions, all 80 questions, and how you answered the question. If you don't, you're screwed. If you don't, you dug your own grave. Because let's say there are 80 questions and you miss 20, and you're like, crap, I don't remember if I said true or false on that, so I'm just going to guess again? No. So you've got to do some testmanship, you've got to do some gamesmanship, you've got to note the test question and whether or not you said true or false, and then when you see it again, if you fail the test and you see that question again, you know to answer the other way. Don't race through the test. You get 2 chances. If you race through the test and you don't do what I just said, I can't help you. Even for money. I can't help you. Now, Randy is on the test committee. He takes Benjamin Franklin's.
I take Venmo.
Venmo, okay. Are there any questions about what I just said? You will wait until July 21st. I have you wait because we have to complete all of the training. And unfortunately, there are some questions you'll see that I just didn't cover. I screwed up and I didn't cover it, and it's going to be Chinese to you, and you're going to go, crap, I have no idea, and you're just going to have to look in the rules book to try to find the answer. So you are learning a new language, and we are asking you to be like an intermediate Chinese speaker right away. So we do recognize this is tough if you're a new official.
On the test, will it, because I know on the quizzes online, will it have the rule reference?
No.
Okay, so we just
No.
gotta, okay.
No, why do I give you the rule reference on my test online?
You love us.
Because I love you.
Yeah.
And because Randy recommended it. Okay, no questions. I'm gonna say that again and again and get us caged. We're gonna go through the rules. One of the things about Rule 1 is there's a lot of things like the number of laces on the football and how much pressure is in the football, and the colors of the mouth. Well, the colors of the mouthpieces don't matter anymore. But I would say read through Rule 1. There's a lot of stuff in there that you're like, I don't care how tall the goalpost needs to be. We used to get tested on that, but we don't anymore, thank goodness. But one of the things I do want to call out are some of the most important things you'll see as a brand new official when you walk on the field for the first time. The yard line markers, we're talking about the markers that say like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Those are the yard line markers. Many times the folks that set up the fields, especially middle school fields, they're going to put them right on the sideline. So as one of your first tasks is to move those back. And the rules book says 5 yards. I can't put them 5 yards back. So what I do is I put them 2 yards back, which is the distance between the sideline and the beginning of the team box. We call that the restricted area. The 2 yard between the sideline and where the team box begins is the restricted area, or it's actually the coach's area, which becomes the restricted area when the ball is live. We move those markers back so that the teams stay back. The coaches know where they're supposed to stand. And the chains, if you're on the chains, you want those chains to be back as well. So it's important to get those yard markers back. The restraining line is 2 yards from the sidelines. It's not a visible line on many grass fields. The hash marks, hopefully you'll have hash marks. Most fields have hash marks. The ball is always snapped between the hash marks. Sometimes an umpire will brain fart and he'll grab the ball and he'll put it down. If he puts it down outside of the hash marks, between the hash mark and the sideline, just say, hey, move it in. Doesn't happen often. The 9 yard marks are important because by rule, all Team A players and all Team K players must be momentarily inside the 9 yard marks after the ball is marked ready for play, which prevents a hideout play. We'll talk about that later. If the field has numbers, then the bottoms of the numbers is at the 9 yard mark. If the field doesn't have numbers, we kind of do Kentucky windage. All right? And those team boxes are between the 25 yard lines on a 100 yard field. We don't allow coaches or players to go between the 25 yard and the goal line. And sometimes you have to say, Coach, can I get you back inside the 25, or back inside the 25, please? So those team boxes go from each 25 yard line. Questions? We talk about pylons. The pylons will sometimes they won't be set properly by game management. You want to put the pylon at the intersection between the sideline and the goal line. And the pylon, therefore, is inbounds or out of bounds?
Inbounds.
I heard inbounds.
Out.
I don't like inbounds. Out of bounds. The pylon is out of bounds because it's sitting on the sideline, and the sideline is out of bounds. So if a player leaps to try to catch a pass, possesses the pass, and touches the pylon, their first touch is the pylon, is that a completed catch? No, because the pylon is out of bounds.
But if the ball, if they're diving into the end zone and
Yep.
it touches the pylon, that's a score.
The pylon is out of bounds and
Inbounds.
nope, it's out of bounds and on the goal line. So if the ball touches the pylon, that is a score if he possesses the ball. If the ball is fumbled and touches the pylon, it's a touchback because the ball went out of bounds. So anytime the ball touches, and we'll talk about touchdowns and the location of the football. Each player is numbered 0 to 99, not 00. I haven't seen 00. Nobody's going to try to wear 00. When you go onto the field, this is not the inclusive list of equipment. I just cherry picked the ones that I thought matter. Mouthpieces can be solid or clear. They can have one equipped mouthpiece. A couple of years ago, we had a rash of players who watched NFL and college football, and they saw the dangling mouthpiece and they thought that was really cool. So they put a mouthpiece in their mouth and then they had a second dangling mouthpiece. Well, how do we know that they've equipped a mouthpiece if we see it dangling? So we changed the rules to say you can equip one mouthpiece. So if you see the mouthpiece out and you're going to see it all game long, hey, 82, put your mouthpiece in. 3, put your mouthpiece in. You're constantly telling them to put the mouthpiece in. If they show you a mouthpiece and they have a dangling, you need to get off the field and fix it. You need to pick one or the other, but you can't have both. Get off the field. You don't say it that way. You say, would you be so kind as to move off of the field? All right, so they can equip one mouthpiece. It can be any color. And this year, as a rules change, the mouthpieces cannot have any kind of ornamentation or anything that is dangerous.
Like fangs.
Yeah, fangs, Batman, wings, or whatever. So just make it a normal mouthpiece. You cannot have tinted or polarized eye shade. Polarized is where you look at it and you turn it and it's no longer clear. They must be all clear. And you're going to see problems like that as well. You must have the players remove that. If the coach says, hey, he played the whole game last week, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with what you did last week, but by rule, you cannot have a tinted or polarized eye shield. You can wear, and oh, by the way, you can't have a doctor's note. They can't say, here's a doctor's note notarized by a lawyer and signed by Donald Trump. No, can't do that. No, you cannot legally have a tinted or polarized eye shield. You can wear sunglasses under a clear eye shade. You see that sometimes. The pants, and this is a big butt pain, and this is a rule of emphasis, what do we call it? Point of emphasis, is pants have to cover the knees. Now in Colorado, this is an example of don't get into a fist fight on social media with somebody from another state, because every state interprets this differently. In Colorado, we want the pants to cover the knees. We don't want the pants to be like college, right? Where it's above the knees. But if it's kind of over the knees, we're not draconian. In Mark Bradley's opinion, the padded knee, the pads on the pants doesn't save anybody from injury. The pads need to be over the knees. If there was empirical evidence that the knee pads did save injury, then NFL owners would insist, and college coaches would insist, that their players have their knees covered. So I don't know if NFHS is going to change the rule, but this is something where people dig their teeth into. If you have any questions, ask your white hat. It's not unsportsmanlike conduct if the player's not wearing their pants over their knee. You'll see kids pull them up all the time because they want to look cool. It's like, 11, pull your pants down. No, not that one. Pull your pants down. All right? They must have hip pads, knee pads, thigh pads, and a tailbone protector. Do not. The kids are going to lie. Every kid on the face of the earth lies, right? So you say, hey, 7, do you have tailbone protector? Do you have hip pads? Yeah, I do. Show it to me. Well, they didn't have enough. They can't play. Do not let them play without the proper pads. And if the coach says, we don't have enough, my answer is, Coach, I'm sorry, but this player cannot play without the required equipment. Can
they share?
Sure. Whatever they do on the sideline is their business. But they have to be on the field properly equipped. This is a rule change this year. They can now put play cards on the waist. That might be a test question. Arm, wrist, or waist is all legal. I asked George Demetrio, the rules interpreter, why do we allow hand warmers on the waist but not play cards? And then they changed the rule. So maybe I get credit. Yeah, it's all me.
It's the Mark Bradley rule.
The jerseys must completely cover the pads, the shoulder pads, and the hard protector.
Back
So
plate.
the
Back plate.
back plate. Okay, at Top Fort Carson, all the players had their jerseys up, and they had writing messages. I love Rhonda. Seriously, on their back plate. So they were messages to their girlfriends. You've got to have the jersey pulled down. Now, we are not the fashion police. So, hey, pull your jersey down. But I have allowed thousands of plays to go off with the jersey up. Have you? Have you? Have you?
I've told him 4 times after
Yeah.
the 4th time I'm tired of telling him.
Yeah, tired. And then fortune strap secured. Sometimes they forget, just, that's not big a problem as the mouthpiece not being. So Rule 155 talks about if required player equipment is missing or improperly worn, and if a player does not have knee pads, it is not a foul, just send the player off. Now, if the player keeps spitting the mouthpiece out, you'll see that. If a player is participating in the play and his mouthpiece is out, you don't know why. But if you see the mouthpiece out all the time, I would tell the coach, Coach, number 11 must properly equip the mouthpiece. If I see it out, I'm just going to send him off the field. So if you want number 11 to play, you need to tell him to wear his mouthpiece. Questions? All right. Rule 2. This is your vocabulary. You must know the definitions because you are going to be talking to coaches. And what 2 words are you going to use when you are explaining a rule to a coach? You
By
start
rule.
by rule. And then if the coach is upset about your judgment, you say, Coach, in my judgment. So you might say, Coach, by rule, if a player is pulled forward, it cannot be a horse collar tackle. In my judgment, the player was not pulled sideward or backward. In my judgment, that is not a horse collar tackle. But if you're talking about rules, you say by rule, and then if the coach continues to argue, with whom are they arguing? The rule book. They're now arguing with the rule book. So you say by rule. We've already talked about the dead ball. We've talked about the importance of dead ball officiating. We're going to keep talking about that. Eric's going to talk about that next week. And by the way, next week, wear your outdoor gear. Wear your sweats, your shorts, your running shoes. And what are you supposed to bring?
Beanbag flag.
Beanbag,
Flag.
flag,
Distance flag.
whistle. If you can't, still show up. And I have a whistle that I will put in my mouth and get it nice and clean and then give it to you. No, I promise I will boil a couple of whistles. Bring a whistle, a beanbag, and a long toss flag. And wear clothes that you can run around in for next week. A ball becomes live in 2 ways. Snap,
Free kick.
free kick. That's the only 2 ways the ball becomes live. We have to know the definition of a loose ball because it matters for penalty enforcement. And unfortunately, and I'll just say this for the record, we are not going to make you penalty enforcement experts, and there are a lot of penalty enforcement questions on the test. So we're kind of, I don't like that. So I need you to know in Rule 10 is your penalty enforcement. If you look on page 80 of your rules book, the title of page 80 is Enforcement of Penalties. And on page 82, section 3, says, section 3, types of play. Now, we really want you to work hard. So it says a loose ball play is action as defined in 233(1) AD. You're like, crap, I'm not done yet. So you go to rule 2, which is definitions, and you go to 233, and that's on page 41. Section 33 plays for penalty enforcement. A loose ball play is action during a free kick or scrimmage kick, a legal forward pass, a backward pass including the snap, illegal kick or fumble made by A in or behind the neutral zone prior to a change of team possession, or the runner runs which precedes such actions. The point is, use your rules book to answer the quiz questions. So if it talks about, the quarterback throws a pass downfield and team B interferes with team A's, restricts team A while the ball's in flight, and you throw a flag for defensive pass interference, and they say, what's the spot of penalty enforcement? Well, you say, well, I first have to know what kind of a play it is. It's a loose ball play because a loose ball play is a legal forward pass. So 233 tells you that a loose ball play is, and then a running play is everything else. Then you say, okay, it's a loose ball play. Then you go to basic spots, which is 10-4, and penalty enforcement lives. A lot of where penalty enforcement lives is 10-4. So you will go to 10-4 when you answer your quiz questions. 10-4 says the basic spot is the previous spot, 4. The basic spot is the spot where the kick ends, 4. The basic spot is the spot of the foul, 4. The basic spot is the succeeding spot, 4. So what you have to do is go into 10-4 anytime you see a penalty enforcement quiz question, and I hope you're taking notes. A penalty enforcement quiz question, you go to 10-4, and you say, okay, what kind of play is this? Is it a loose ball play? Is it a running play? Is it a unsportsmanlike during the dead ball? Is it a non-player foul? And you go to 10-4, and you say, okay, if it's a non-player foul, the basic spot is the succeeding spot for a non-player foul. You've got to work hard. Because you will eventually get it. You will, I promise. But we accept the fact that you're brand new or newish, and it's going to take a little elbow grease. And if you read the question and you're just ready to like throw your fist through your monitor, send me an email first and say, I've had enough, I can't figure this out, I'm about ready to lose my mind, and I'll talk you off the ledge. And I will mail you a Snickers. Okay? Okay, so the loose ball, pass, fumble, or kick, that is a loose ball. That is not, there's a difference between a loose ball play and a loose ball. Does that make sense? A loose ball play is, let's say you have a running play and the runner fumbles, then the ball is loose. So a loose ball is the ball is thrown, it's fumbled, or it's kicked. So you can have multiple running plays on any given down. You can have only one loose ball play per down. Does that make sense? Okay. It may not stick. Don't get frustrated. Don't get discouraged. Everybody in this room has been where you are right now. And you will one day be standing up here teaching a class full of new officials.
So the question,
Go ahead, talk loud.
A10 fumbles on like 35, and that's a loose ball. And let's
Yes.
say like B55 picks it up, and it's fumbles and A picks it back up and recovers it and gets the first down. Would that be 2 loose ball plays in one
So
play?
it is a running play, not a loose ball play. It's a running play that has a loose ball component, a run, a second loose ball, and then a run. So it's not a loose ball play. So when we talk about penalty enforcement, if the ball's passed and there's a foul, the pass is a loose ball play. If the ball's kicked and there's a foul, the kick is a loose ball play. If the ball is fumbled and there's a foul in the ensuing scrum, we don't enforce that from the previous spot. We enforce that from the run, the end of the run or the related run, because it's a running play. If it doesn't make sense, that's okay. It's okay. Please give yourself some grace. Don't walk out of here and say, screw football. It doesn't make sense. Because you're going to have me, and then you're going to have a crew chief. And I expect you to treat me like a candy machine, where you get to email me and get a piece of candy. If you can't figure it out, email me. When you have a crew chief, I expect you to bug your crew chief. And if your crew chief doesn't answer your question, I am your training director. I expect you to bug me. Is that fair? Okay. Batting is an intentional act. If I unintentionally slap the ball, that is called a muff. Good. Now, there are a bunch of blocking definitions in Rule 2. So everybody go to blocking. It's on page 29. Blocking is obstructing an opponent by contacting him with any part of the blocker's body. Now, there's a closed or cupped hand technique, and there's an open hand technique. And notice what it says. Open hand technique on page 30. The hand shall be inside the frame of the blocker's body, at or below the shoulders of the blocker and the opponent, except when the opponent squats, ducks, or submarines during the blocker after the blocker is committed to his charge. Open when the palms are facing the frame of the opponent or when the forearms are extended beyond the 45-degree angle from the body. That is so restrictive. Is it a true statement that there is holding on every play? Yes. Yes. If we ruled by the definition of the rules book, we would throw a flag on every play, because how many times can 5 players numbered 50 to 79 and some additional players all keep their hands inside of their frame of their body and their opponent's body? 0 times. Will coaches call for holding all the time? It's probably the number one foul that coaches yell at us about. And we're going to talk about the art of officiating, which is the components of watching to see if a player gained an unfair advantage by truly restricting their opponent at the point of attack, and it impacts the play. So the coaches will yell because they want to see holding. They'll see a jersey grab. Jersey grabs are not holding, but they'll see it and they'll want to hold. I'm watching a lot of World Cup. It just amazes me how much players hold their opponents and grab the jerseys and that kind of thing, and the referee doesn't always blow his whistle. And the same applies to football. So, will you be yelled at every single game? All the time. Yep. And if you don't like being yelled at, go find a different profession, because you will be yelled at. Sometimes you walk off the field and it's like you were in a war, and you're exhausted and you're discouraged. But then you call me or you call your crew chief and you talk about it, and we build you back up again. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So you say, how often do you guys call,
How often do you call like if they're like locked out? I know it specifically says it's not supposed to be locked out, but do y'all like call it like, hey, your arms were locked out? You throw that out a lot.
So, like straight hands,
Right.
I'm not gonna flag that. I want to see, and we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but there are three components that are not rules, but they're kind of axioms that help us rule whether or not blocking is actually a foul. Do I see demonstrated restriction, and who demonstrates the restriction?
Offensive.
The player getting blocked must demonstrate the restriction. So if I see I see an offensive player grab jersey and the defender's like, I'm okay with being blocked, I'm not going to flag that. I want to see that defender work hard to try to get to the runner so that I can say, yes, that is demonstrated restriction. At the point of attack, that impacts the play. So it's material restriction at the point of attack that impacts the play. So if I see arms out like this, that's not a foul. So the rules book, unfortunately, describes the impossible. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so that's blocking. We're going to go through, when we talk on week 4, we're going to go through blocking below the waist, chop block, and blindside block. We're going to describe it. I'm going to show you videos so you'll be familiar with those. Let me go through this slide, then we'll take a break. A catch, there's a definition of a catch, and unfortunately it's mediocre. So catch is section 4. And essentially, the receiver must survive the ground. You don't see those words in the rules book. But the receiver must gain possession and survive the ground, or step with 1 foot in bounds and then go out of bounds and maintain possession of the ball. When in doubt, is it a catch or no catch? When in doubt, it is a no catch. When in question, sometimes we see it, we don't know, and we have to rule that it's no catch if there's any doubt in our mind. That is no catch. So the catch definition is not good in the rules book. And just a plug for my Ready for Play articles. If you go to the Art of Fishing website, on the home page you click RFP on the top right. There's over 100 articles I wrote. I would say I would read every article. Start with the beginning and just go through them systematically. There are also 40 other articles that I wrote that include videos. But last year I wrote an article about a catch and how do we rule on a catch. If touching the ball causes the ball to become dead, meaning I'm out of bounds and I jump in the air, and before I touch inbounds, I touch the ball, it is an incomplete pass because I touched the ball while I was out of bounds. There is a definition of clipping and block in the back. We are going to skip that for now. We'll talk about that in 2 weeks when we talk Rule 9. Clipping and block in the back. When we talk about conferences, there are 2 kinds of conferences. And when I first started officiating, many conferences happened on the field where a coach came out and he came out between the numbers and he talked to 11 players. By rule, if that happens, there can only be 11 players in that huddle, no more than 11, and there can only be 1 coach, no more than 1. If there's more, it's unsportsmanlike conduct. Now, will I flag that right away? No. If 2 coaches come out, I'll just say, Coach, you can only have 1 in the huddle. And I politely say, you can only have 1 in the huddle. And if there's more than 11 players, I'll say, Coach, there can only be 11 players. If you want more, you need to bring your players outside the numbers. Most coaches now, during a timeout, all of the players go to the sideline, and you can have 1,000 players and 10,000 coaches on the sideline between the 25-yard lines. If the coach, let's say there's a timeout and the team is like straddling the 25, so you have some players on the 20, leave it alone. If you are an absolutist and you're draconian, find another job. Because some things you just say, you know what, I'm not going to die on this hill. You don't let them huddle up on the 5-yard line or the 10-yard line. You say, Coach, can you get inside the 25, please? But don't interrupt to get everybody inside the 25. He's touching the line. Don't do that. So 2 conferences. One is outside the 9-yard mark between the numbers and the sideline. Multiple coaches, multiple players. The other one is between the 9-yard mark, no more than 11 players and only 1 coach. In high school, encroachment is a dead ball foul. You can have encroachment on Team K or Team R. You can have encroachment on Team A or Team B. We'll talk about the neutral zone. And by rule, in Rule 7, when we get to Rule 7, we'll talk specifically about encroachment. There's no such thing as offsides. You can't have a player enter the neutral zone and get back. As soon as that player enters the neutral zone, it is a foul. Blow the whistle, stop the clock, throw the flag, encroachment. Fighting is a combative manner. It could be a punch. Whether or not the punch connects or not is a non sequitur. Any swing of the fist is fighting. Any kick, like judo kick, fly kick, roundhouse kick, that's all fighting. A player who's frustrated and kind of slams his hand into an opponent's face mask is not fighting. That's a personal foul, and it could be a flagrant personal foul, so that player could still be ejected if you believe it's flagrant. But we really want to see the fist, and we don't want to see. If there is a swing and a punch and a connect, and you've seen fighting, right, Randy? Dean, his first white hat. Dean, did you email me or call me?
Well, I called
Yeah, his very first white hat. Hey, am I supposed to do a CHASA report? Because you end up like...
No, I said, how do you do a CHASA report? He said, you don't have to do that. It was a JV game. Sub-varsity game. I said, yeah. What if there's a fight? Oh, then you have to do it.
So Dean's first white hat game, we ended up paying the players to fight just so that he would enjoy that. By the way, and here's something that we were talking, I was talking with Josh Squires. If you have a fight and you're talking to your white hat, don't do this like Mark Bradley did at Harrison High School when he was describing fighting. Keep your hands at your sides and use your voice, use your words, and say, yeah, 82 was throwing haymaker punches. I was reporting this to Mark Van Gampler. Yeah, these guys were like this. And he goes, put your hands down. All right, we'll talk about formations. That's Rule 7 again. And forward progress. Ray Lutz said, forward progress is the wing's most important product. There is a video online that we're going to have you watch videos. We're going to have you watch mechanics videos this week. Please watch your videos. Because when we go onto the field, you must have the foundation. So watch the freaking videos. If you don't, we're going to go down to the field and you will be semi-clueless. I'm going to do a chains presentation. There's a video called The Chain Crew and Measurements. Watch that video. Watch the wing mechanics video. Watch the video. We'll talk about forward progress. Because every snap, most every snap, you're going to be getting forward progress. And if you can't get forward progress well, you are a poor wing. If you get forward progress well, I'm going to beat the door down to try to get you on my game. Because a good wing that gets good forward progress is worth his weight in gold. So you must work super hard to learn how to do that. Okay, any questions? All right, raise your hand if you feel a little overwhelmed, a little like brain mushy, or a little discouraged right now, raise your hand. Okay. So, it is okay. Remember I said at the beginning, this is a fire hose. We know this has to be a fire hose. It's okay to be discouraged. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to think, I'm not getting it. Because I promise you, it gets better. I promise you. And we will coach you. We will help you. We will work you through so that you can wear a uniform and be on the field. And then your first game is a complete war. And your coach yells at you and you walk off the field and you feel discouraged. It will get better. And one day you're going to be on a varsity field and you're going to go, man, this is the sweetest thing. And I look back at where I was and I think I have come so far. So think about, the first time you picked up a golf club, the first time you went skiing, the first time you did something very awkward and like you skied and you fell down 100 times. That's what this is. So if you feel discouraged, call me. I won't answer the phone. Leave a message. I'll call you back. Text me. Better email me. We are here to help you. We're here to help you. And if you feel discouraged, you're not alone. You are not alone. Okay? All right. In the rules book, the free blocking zone matters when we talk about blocking below the waist, blindside blocks, blocks in the back. There are certain blocks that are allowed in the free blocking zone, but they're not allowed outside. So on an 11-man football field, the free blocking zone is 4 yards beyond and behind the ball and 3 yards to the right and the left. That is called the free blocking zone. Did I screw it up?
Yeah.
4 yards on either side, 3 yards, thank you. 3 yards in front and behind. See, I'm discouraged now. 4 yards on either side. That's called the free blocking zone. Thank you. Now, the free blocking zone disintegrates when the ball leaves the zone. And so certain blocks are not allowed as soon as the ball leaves the zone. There's no longer a free blocking zone. So blocking below the waist is not allowed anymore. And a blindside block is not allowed anymore. And blocks in the back are not allowed anymore. So other than Mark Bradley screw up, I'm no longer responsible for knowing the size of the free blocking zone. I've already demonstrated that. So it's 3 beyond and behind and 4 on each side is the free blocking zone. Coaches aren't going to know that. So it's the next level when they say, he blocked me in the back. And you say, well, it's legal in the free blocking zone. And they're going to go, what's that? I know what Legos are. I don't know any more than that. We've already talked about the fumble. If you can notice, I'm going kind of alphabetically through Rule 2. And I'm not talking about some of those rules, just the ones that kind of stand out to me. What has to happen before a fumble? Possession before the fumble. Right. If there's no possession, what is it called? A muff. Very good. We have illegal helmet contact, and this is a big deal because it's a safety rule. So there are different kinds of illegal helmet contact. If you look in Rule 2, and you can see alphabetically, we're going through 35, thank you. And it says there are definitions: butt blocking, face tackling, and spearing. And also, by the way, notice on the next page at the top, there is the word targeting. So targeting is an NFHS rule. Targeting does not require disqualification. So there could be targeting, a player gets flagged for targeting, but is not disqualified. I'm not going to go through the nuances because we'll spend the rest of the time here. What I will tell you is never use the word targeting out loud so the players or coaches or parents can hear it. If you believe that contact by rule was targeting, and it says any player who takes aim and initiates contact against an opponent above the shoulders with the helmet, forearm, hand, fist, elbow, or shoulders, takes aim and initiates contact above the shoulders with, body parts, by rule is called targeting. But if you're standing there and you tell the white hat and the coach is sitting right there and you go, I've got a foul for targeting, you just, the genie came out of the bottle. So walk off to the side, away from the players and coaches, and talk very softly to the white hat and say, 82, left his feet launched and struck the runner in the helmet with his shoulder. That by rule is targeting. And then you get to decide whether or not it's flagrant and whether or not that. But a lot of this is illegal helmet contact with the crown of the helmet, the top of the helmet, the face mask, a lot of the fouls. And do I want you to know the difference between face tackling, spearing, or butt blocking? Not really. I just want you to know that players cannot contact their opponent above the shoulders. And as a referee, I'm guilty a lot of times about not noticing when my quarterback is hit above the shoulders. And I have not thrown a flag multiple times when I should have.
In high school, do they have to leave their feet?
No. Nope. A lot of times, bigger players will hit smaller players in the helmet, and you'll see that illegal helmet contact because they, it's kind of like hunting, right? If you shoot your gun and you kill the red-breasted, double curler duck and it's protected, you can't tell the warden, I didn't know. You're responsible for when you pull the trigger. Players are responsible for their actions. By the way, should I confess on film? I lived in Minot, North Dakota, and the meadowlark is the state bird. And I was hunting doves, and a bird came out of the brush, and I shot it. Guess what it was? A meadowlark. $10,000 fine. So what did Mark Bradley do? He dug a deep hole, put the meadowlark in the hole, covered it up, and ran.
There's no
Okay,
statute of
that's my
limitations for that
confession.
either. The triple S rule.
Right. Okay. It is not a foul to have 12 players in the huddle. It's not. But will the coaches scream for it because they watch TV? So when we get to Rule 3, substitutions, when a substitute goes onto the field, the replaced player has 3 seconds to begin to leave the field. Are you going to sit there with your stopwatch?
Yes.
Yeah. No! Don't be draconian. Don't. A lot of the players you're going to officiate your first couple of times are going to be young kids. They don't know, how to put their equipment on. They're scared to death. They don't know what, a trips right, double wide, Z-pack, Patriot X out means. Because all the coaches think that they're going to be called by the New England Patriots the next day. So all the players, third grade players have these play cards on their wrist. They just want to know what flavor ice cream they're going to get after the game. So we give a lot of grace to the players, to the young players, because they don't know. And a lot of times they don't get a lot of contact with the coaches. So you're going to have 82 players in the huddle. You're going to spend a lot of time, Coach, you're one up. You need to get one off. You need to get one off. Coach, you're one down. I'll say, Coach, you need to have odd numbers on the field, not even. So 13's okay, just not 12. It's supposed to be a joke. Sorry, I screwed that one up also. You're going to be spending a lot of time making sure you have enough players on the field. And you want to work with the coaches. You want to make sure the coaches know you're not just going to flag the smallest indiscretion. With hurdling, I want you to memorize this definition. Not for the test, because you have your rule book and the definition of hurdling is in your rule book. You're not going to have it on the field. But you need to know that for a player to be guilty of hurdling, they're going to jump with one or both feet foremost over an opponent who only has his foot or feet touching the ground. The opponent's on his knees, or if he has one hand on the ground, you can jump. You're not hurdling because it's just like kicking or batting. Don't use the word hurdle. It's okay to hurdle a player who has a hand on the ground. Don't use the word hurdle. It's okay to jump over a player, because as soon as you use the word hurdle, now you've mucked it all up. So, that's hurdling. Coach, what do I start with?
By rule.
By rule, your player had a hand on the ground. By rule, the runner is allowed to jump over him. It's not a foul. Okay, questions? We use the word intentional with kick. Kicking is an intentional act. The line of scrimmage. How many lines of scrimmage are there on a scrimmage play? Two. Team A has a line of scrimmage, which is the butt end of the football, and Team B has a line of scrimmage, which is the nose of the football. And what do we call that area, the very, very small area in between? The neutral zone. The neutral zone. So Team A has a line of scrimmage and Team B has a line of scrimmage. And when we talk about, in Rule 7, we'll talk about encroachment. And that's where we will discuss encroachment in more detail. So if you see LOS, that means line of scrimmage. We've already talked about a month. Have we beaten that dead horse? Okay, very good. The neutral zone that we just described, there are two neutral zones. One is the distance between, on a free kick. Can somebody help Scott? Here. Scott is here to get his rules book. Thank you. Okay. On a free kick, where is Team K kicking the ball from? The K40. What is Team R's restraining line?
K50.
The 50-yard line, midfield. That 10 yards between those two restraining lines is called the neutral zone for a free kick. 10 yards. When we talk about Rule 6, which is kicking the ball in fair catch, we'll talk about where that neutral zone comes into play, especially with Team K's opportunity to block Team R or Team K's opportunity to possess the ball and keep the ball. We also have a neutral zone during a scrimmage play where Team A snaps the ball and it's this long. So it's very, very narrow, that neutral zone. We also have something called the expanded neutral zone. And this is important during a passing play because, and we'll see it in Rule 7, 7.5.10, we'll see that on a passing play where the ball crosses the line of scrimmage, the ineligible numbers. How are you ineligible?
By position?
By position or
By number.
by number. So ineligible players are not allowed to go more than 2 yards beyond, and the rule book actually says Team B's line of scrimmage. It's actually Kentucky windage. If the ball snapped from the A20, those ineligibles cannot go beyond the A22 if a forward pass crosses the line of scrimmage until that ball is released by the passer. As soon as the ball is released by the passer, those ineligibles can scoot downfield. So we allow some line play. We allow those players to go into the expanded neutral zone. Now, if the player, and this is a test question, if that ineligible player goes beyond the expanded neutral zone and then comes back into the expanded neutral zone and the ball is released and goes beyond the line of scrimmage, has that player fouled?
I have more questions though, too. Did it affect the play?
Nope. Has the player fouled? Yes. Yes.
Are you gonna flag it?
Yes.
Every time?
Yes.
No matter what?
Yes. Okay? Because you're taking a test now.
Oh.
Okay? If the score is 102-0, I'm not flagging it. But the score is 0-0. All right? Did that make sense? Let me read 7-5-10 because this is important to you. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I lied. 7-5-12. 7-5-12 for those of you that are listening. Okay, ineligible A players. They're not on the end of their line of scrimmage, and they have an ineligible number, or they have an ineligible number, may not advance beyond the expanded neutral zone on a legal forward pass play before a legal forward pass that crosses the neutral zone is in flight. Thank you, Dean. They can't get back. When we talk about a quarterback passing the ball, the quarterback can go beyond the line of scrimmage and then retreat behind the line of scrimmage and throw the ball downfield, and it's legal. That's a video test question, by the way. Yes, sir.
So if we see a lineman or an ineligible receiver go past the 2-yard mark, it's the automatic flag.
No, because what also has to happen?
Okay.
Ball has to cross the line of scrimmage. So this could be a late flag. And the umpire, if you have an umpire, really needs to be the one to get this. But the wings are watching their keys. If your key goes downfield, you have no business watching the line of scrimmage. In middle school, if the kids don't throw the ball very far, if you don't have an umpire, then you've got to have like 3-4 eyeballs to look at a lot of things. Some things you're going to miss. If the pass is released and caught behind the line of scrimmage, those linemen can block way downfield. It's not offensive pass interference, and it's not ineligible downfield if the pass is caught in or behind the neutral zone. But if it goes beyond, we have a foul. The player cannot go 4 yards downfield and then retreat. Oh, crap. And then the pass goes beyond the neutral zone. That is a foul. Test question. Okay. That's called the expanded neutral zone. 2 yards beyond the neutral zone.
Question.
Yes.
Pancake. If you get pancake, if the player A pancakes the defender into the 3-yard line, is that a foul? Would that be a foul? I had that with a.
So a player. I hope you were the pancaker, not the pancakee. Right? No, the offensive lineman cannot block beyond. If he's blocking, he cannot go 3 yards downfield.
So what I'm saying, if he like the defensive player B falls, and
right,
then he still over the third.
Okay, so he falls and he trips.
Yeah,
I would rule that the B player tripped the A player,
okay,
and the A player did not on his own go beyond the 2 yards. That's the art of officiating. That's a good question. Okay, or if the B player pulls somehow, he grabs the blocker and he's locked up and they're all fighting with each other and he pulls them downfield, I'm not gonna throw a flag on team A.
okay.
All right. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on out of bounds. Just know any part of the person is touching anything other than another player or a game official that is on, should say, or outside the sideline or end line. So it says, any part of the person is touching anything other than another player or game official, which means if another player is standing out of bounds and reaches in and touches the runner, is the runner dead? Is the ball dead?
Yes.
No. Any part of the person is touching anything other than another player or a game official. So if B21 goes out of bounds and he's standing out of bounds and he tries to tackle team A from out of bounds and he touches him, as long as that runner is not touching out of bounds, he is still in bounds. He's still in bounds as the runner when the ball's possessed. If the ball is loose and a loose ball is out of bounds when, and one of the big things is anybody out of bounds touches the ball's dead. So if you have a fumble by the sideline and a big pig pile, as soon as any player touching out of bounds touches the ball, it's dead. And the Team B coach is going to be pissed if his player possesses the ball, a fumble, and his player is touching out of bounds. Because remember, touching precedes possession, right? So he touches the ball and his player is straddling the sideline, the ball's dead and not possessed by Team B. So you're going to go, and if it was a forward fumble, what do we do with the ball? We're going to bring it back to the spot of the fumble. If it was a backward fumble, we're just going to spot it and say, Team A still has the ball. Not first down, but third down, second down, whatever. So a loose ball touched by a player out of bounds is dead. A runner touching a player out of bounds is still good. Okay, so I'm not going to read. Please just make a note. This is part of your homework, is to read the rules, and I don't need you to memorize them. Just know where they are in definitions. And in Rule 4. We're going to talk about Rule 4 as well. Participation is a big deal because we have illegal participation. So remember, the definition of participation is an action that influences the play is called participation. A player runs onto the field and goes, oh crap, I'm the 12th player, and then stands there, has not participated in the play. If a player draws coverage, if a player somehow influences the play, that is participation in the play. So if you need to know about participation, you go to definitions. I would always start with Rule 2 definitions. Note the definition of a forward and backward pass. You need to note that for the quiz or for the test. In Rule 2 definitions, passing is where you find the definition of a forward and a backward pass. Is the word lateral in the rules book? No, it's either a forward pass or a backward pass, not a lateral. Forward pass, initial direction toward the opponent's end line. Backward pass, initial direction parallel with or toward the runner's end line. When in doubt, a pass is forward. No cheap turnovers, no cheap touchdowns. If you don't know, and it's like, well, I need to get my micrometer, my laser pointer out, it's a illegal or incomplete forward pass. No cheap turnovers. Does that make sense? Because you're going to see it again and again and again and again on a football field. Don't swallow your whistle. And I brain locked. You can correct it at any time. The quarterback throws the ball toward the sideline. It's a forward pass. It hits the ground. Team B picks it up. And you're standing there like, oh crap, I think that was a forward pass. Kill it. Even if the runner's 50 yards down the field. Get it right. Beep, 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 beep. Incomplete forward pass. That was a forward pass. He's all the way down there, coach. I screwed up. I should have blown it dead right away. I apologize, but we got it right. So when in doubt, it's forward. There are player designations. I think that's rule, what number is it?
32.
32.
39. It's actually 32
Oh, yeah, section 32.
on page 39.
I need you just to know where it is so that you can find it. Again, I'm not going to require that you memorize all the articles. But it talks about the definition of a player of A, a player of B, a player of K, a player of R, a back, an offensive blocker, a captain, a disqualified player, a holder, a kicker, a lineman, a non-player, a passer, a replaced player, a runner, a snapper, a substitute, a defenseless player. Defenseless player is super important because it's a safety issue. So this is where, as a brand new official or a newer official, if you'd done it 8 years ago, there was no such thing as a defenseless player in the rules book, I think. This is a relatively new concept from a guy from Hawaii. A receiver who is stretched out for the football by rule is a defenseless player. A receiver who wants to catch a scrimmage kick is a defenseless player. A quarterback who is throwing the ball is a defenseless player. A player on the ground is a defenseless player. A player who is not participating in the play is a defenseless player. And there are restrictions on how those players can be contacted. Do you remember back in ESPN where they used to do the "he got lit up"? And they used to celebrate big hits. Most of those big hits are now illegal. Because by rule, if that receiver is stretched out, there are only 3 ways to contact the receiver. 1 is a bona fide attempt to touch or catch the ball by the defender. 2 is a wrap-up tackle. And 3 is contacting with open hands. So you cannot throw your body and hit with your shoulder to try to jar the ball loose if the receiver is defenseless, meaning that receiver is trying to catch the ball. And you're going to see it, and you need to flag it. So if the receiver makes big contact but he's trying to knock the ball down, that's okay as long as he doesn't use his helmet and strike the receiver above the shoulders or strike the receiver with his helmet. If it's a legal contact and he's trying to bat the ball down, or a legitimate wrap-up tackle, he can hit him as hard as he wants. He can create the biggest snot bubble in the world as long as that contact is wrap-up or open hands. But we can't have big collisions on defenseless players. How do we mark the ball ready for play?
Whistle and ground play.
Whose whistle? The referees, the white hats, the referees whistle, or
Ball's placed ground and the official walks away from it.
the official moves to his position. And by the way, if you're an umpire, always face the field. If you're a wing, always face the ball if you're an umpire or a referee. Don't turn your back on the ball. Don't turn your back on the field. Where are the players? On the field. So if you're a wing and you walk onto the field to get forward progress, don't turn and do this. If you need to talk to your chain crew, I try to talk to my chain crew and say, Bob, you got 2 on the clock, and I'm looking at players. And I hear Bob, I've got 2 on the box. Did I say clock?
Yeah.
2 on the box, not the clock. So always keep your eyes. Umpire, don't turn your back on the ball. That's one of my big pet peeves. We talked about simultaneous recovery. We're going to talk about a shift in Rule 7. But the definition of a shift, and I think you see this on the test, I'm pretty sure, is when players leave the huddle, that is a shift. Every player on Team A must come to a complete stop for 1 second before the next action, either another shift or a player goes in motion. So if a player is shifting and then another player starts in motion, that's a foul. This player who is shifting must stop, come to a complete stop for 1 second before the next player goes in motion. Many illegal shifts and illegal motions are the quarterback's fault, because the quarterback needs to make sure all of his players are set before he, lifts his leg to have a player go in motion. Now, is it a big deal if it's an illegal shift or illegal motion? It's a big deal for the white hat because he needs to know that illegal shift and illegal motion, he needs to know, do I do 2 arms or I do 1 arm? It's still 5 yards and it's a live ball foul. We'll talk about that later. With a snap, does the ball have to pass between the snapper's legs?
No.
No. The snap has to be, and I'm going to toss the ball to you. The snap has to be a continuous motion, doesn't have to be between the snapper's legs. That's on the test. Doesn't have to be between the snapper's legs. This is not a legal snap. Why?
Because he picked it up. And
I picked it up and then tossed it. This is a legal snap. So that's really going to be the umpire's call. Many times you'll see a snap in a swinging gate formation. So the umpire has the snapper, and there are a bunch of players way the heck over there, and the snapper's standing like this. Now the snapper also has to face his goal line, or Team B's goal line, and the interpretation is 45 degrees. That's quite a bit. So this would be legal, and I really have to be able to propel the ball a long way with one continuous motion. The ball has to leave the snapper's hand.
And a snap between the legs makes a player ineligible for a pass, yeah?
Incorrect.
No?
No. Nope. The ball can be snapped between the snapper's legs. If the snapper has the number 41 and the snapper is at the end of his line, is he eligible? Yes. Yep, doesn't matter how he snaps the ball.
So then why are they doing this if he can still snap it between his legs and go out for a pass?
He can snap it between his legs, and as long as he's not covered.
Right.
If he's at the end of his line, he is an eligible pass receiver, forward pass receiver.
Right.
What they do, the reason they go this way is on a swinging gate, you've got like him and 2 players behind him and then other people spread out. And so he can throw the ball to a player in the backfield because the defenders are all spread out. Go ahead, sir.
So what about the
Talk loud.
snap infraction? So would the umpire be looking for a snap infraction, or would be the wings, the headlines?
The answer is both. The wings can see the ball. The umpire should see the ball. The umpire should always position himself where he can actually see the snap. But let's say it's a double clutch, the snapper like jerks it. Sometimes the umpires miss it. Tim, you were an umpire. Did you ever miss a snap infraction? Never.
Probably. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
But probably.
As far as, it's like an inadvertent whistle. We've had a lot of them, we just don't know it. Yeah, so the wing could see it, but as a wing, and you're going to learn this from Eric, you're looking at your tackle. You're going to read your tackle, so your players come to the line. You're on the line, you're in the backfield, you got your whistle in your mouth, you're looking, the snap goes off, and you're reading your tackle. But if you can see that snap was jerked, you can go ahead and kill it and flag it. But it's not your primary key, not your primary look. Now, if you only have 3 officials on the field, then the wing probably has to get it.
How much leeway are you giving the snapper? Some of them will try to time like an upward head movement with like with an attempt to get the defense to jump, how much?
Cannot simulate a snap. None of his action can simulate a snap. So if I saw a snapper do this, that's a flag 100% of the time.
Even if he kind of rolls it into the side.
Any kind of, like, if he's pointing, he's turning, that is not simulating a snap. So you can move, you can wiggle your butt. You just can't simulate a snap. Yeah.
I would say, in my opinion, you're not going to see a lot of that in high school.
Not even at first.
I mean, maybe on like the best 5A teams,
Right.
but for the large majority, you're not going to see any attempt like with their head movement to try and
Yeah.
draw someone off.
Some centers that are really good, they'll actually squeeze the ball really hard so that the whites of their knuckles show. And if the defender's looking at the hand and they see the white of the knuckles, they'll think the ball's being snapped. That's like next level. All right. Tripping. What's the word here? Intentional. So it used to be that you could trip the runner. We can't trip the runner. So any intentional act using the lower leg or foot to obstruct an opponent below the knee is called tripping, even if it's the runner. By rule, if it's a varsity game, we're doing 12 minutes. If it's a sub-varsity game in Colorado Springs, we're doing 10. We've had some epic, parent fights when Denver teams come down, because Denver goes 12-minute quarters for sub-varsity, so they'll come down and play a Colorado Springs team, and we put 10 on the clock, and they all have, cows and chickens on the field. They birth them. They literally birth them. It's like in Colorado Springs, it's a 10-minute quarter. Sorry. We get more money per minute. And then if you do 7th, and 8th grade, which you're going to do a lot, 7 minutes for 7th grade, 8 minutes for 8th grade. The halftime intermission for varsity is 15 minutes unless it's homecoming, then it's 20. And wide field, because it's such a long walk from the field to the stadium, they don't do that anymore though, do they?
Locker room?
They got a new locker room.
Yeah, they got a new locker room. So
It's still a little bit of a walk.
Yeah, so you just talk to the coaches. Coaches will let you know. But for sub-varsity, I'll say to the coach, okay, coach, we're going to be doing 8-minute quarters. How much time do you need for halftime? Oh, we only need 3 minutes. No, coach. How about we give you 5 minutes or 8 minutes? Sure. Okay, I'm going to talk to the other coach, make sure that's okay for halftime. There is a mandatory 3-minute warm-up period following the halftime intermission. Mandatory in capital letters, which means you will go to jail if all the players come onto the field, you have not run off the 3 minutes, and you kick the ball off and a kid breaks his leg. You will go to jail. Because the lawyer will say, did you allow 3 minutes? And you'll say, no, everybody was ready. And the judge will say, guilty! And then you will be some bad man's boyfriend. So, wait the 3 minutes. Even if they're standing on the field and they're ready to kick, wait the 3 minutes.
So with homecoming plus 20 minutes plus 3?
Say that again?
What for homecoming, 20 minutes plus 3?
Yes. As soon as that halftime intermission is over, then you go 3 minutes. So if you're in sub-varsity, I'll look at by the way, we don't really time it. We just kind of do, okay, I'm done talking with Tim about his week last week, and it felt like 7 minutes. So I'm going to go, okay, coaches, 3-minute warm-up, 3-minute warm-up. And
I always time it.
you always do? See, Tim is a much better official than I am.
You gotta stop watching that.
In the rules book, in chapter 3, it does talk about untimed down. There are instances where we will allow for an untimed down. And the biggest one that you've got to remember is if there is an accepted foul and the play clock expires during the play, and it's an accepted foul and we're going to mark it off, you get an untimed down. If there's a foul and we mark it off and then we wind it and the play clock expires, no on-time down.
Game clock, right?
The game clock, thank you. Game clock. Game clock, thank you. So if the game clock expires and there's a flag on the field and the offended team says, yes, I want to mark that off, then there's an untimed down. If there is a foul that includes loss of down, and I believe this is on your test, so note in Rule 3, untimed down, if you see it on your test, you know to go to the rules book. But if there's an illegal forward pass, if there's illegal handing, illegal forward handing, I don't remember which example is in the rules book, but if the penalty enforcement includes a loss of down, so you're going to have to look in Rule 10 that says these fouls include a loss of down. And then you say, okay, that's a foul that includes a loss of down. You do not have an untimed down. If a safety was the result of the play. Okay, there is a long chapter 3, and this is where you're going to have to roll up your sleeves. There is a section that talks about starting the clock on the snap, when the snapper snaps the ball, and starting the clock on the ready for play, where the referee blows the ready for play. So it'll say, and let me find it so I can point it out to you, in Rule 3, it says, starting and stopping the game clock. The game clock will start for a period. The game clock will start for the ready for play. The game clock will start on the snap. So Article 2 is ready for play. Article 3 is the snap. You will get a play in your quiz, in your test, and it will describe something that precedes either the game clock starting on the snap or the ready for play. So the ball goes out of bounds, it wasn't fumbled, the runner goes out of bounds, the game's clock starts on the snap. The second component is the freaking play clock, 25-second or 40-second play clock. So if you turn the page, on page 50, play clock, ball ready for play, and delay. Play clock and ready for play. Play clock. 25 seconds will be on the play clock and start on the ready for play signal. And then it gives a bunch of reasons. 40 seconds will be put on the play clock and then it gives a reason. So again, you're going to get a play and you're going to have to decide, do I start it on the snap or the ready? Do I start it with a 25-second play clock or a 40-second play clock? If you get it wrong, when you get that test question again, how do you get it right? Because you've noted the question and you've noted the answer you picked and you picked the other answer and you may not know why. You just know that you thought it was true and it's not. It's actually false. And you may not know why. And then you can email me and say, Mark, I did what you told me to do. I got 100% on my test. But could you please explain to me why? Make sense? So Rule 3 is where it talks about game clock and play clock on the snap or on the ready for play. Each team gets 3 timeouts and a half. They get 1 timeout for overtime. The timeouts are 1 minute duration. Only Tim times them. Again, for me, it's like Kentucky windage. And after the timeout, how many of you are basketball officials? So you go up to the huddle and you go, Coach, first horn, right? First horn. Well, we say, Coach is out, water out. Or we say, okay, coaches. And we let the coaches know to get there. And then we don't tap our watches. Just go, okay, coaches, let's go, let's go. And then if the coach continues in the huddle, we go, Coach, timeout's over, Coach. Timeout's over. And if they continue in the huddle, you go, okay, coach, timeout's over. And then if they continue in the huddle and they're team A, then I blow beep, and they get to run onto the field and snap the ball within 25 seconds. If it's team B, I go over and I say, coach, habla inglés, get on the field.
Poquito español.
I'm sorry?
Poquito español.
Yes. Okay. Successive timeouts are authorized. You can use all three back to back to back. And if a coach requests, it's not Chris Webber, Michigan Wolverines, technical foul, if you know what the reference. You just say, coach, you're out of timeouts. And our Colorado mechanic is after the third timeout, the white hat goes to the coach and says, coach, you're out. And the coach goes, thank you. So if the coach says timeout, timeout, and he doesn't have any remaining, you just say, coach, you don't have any more. We talked about untimed down. We talked to look in Rule 3 for 25 and 40-second play clock. And at the end of Rule 3, it talks about substitutions. So just note, get a tattoo on your wrist or whatever, that if you need to learn about substitutions, you go to the end of Rule 3. Rule 3 on page 51 talks about substitutions. What happens if a player comes onto the field after the snap but does not participate? What happens if a player cannot get off the field? They are running and they can't get off the field. And the back judge or you're the wing, you throw a flag. How do we enforce that? Okay? All right. Substitutions can be live ball or dead ball. If you are on the field and you're counting your sideline, you're counting the team on your sideline, and you count 12, coach, you got one too many, get one off, coach, get one off, you're up one, you're up one. If the snap is imminent and they have 12 players, you kill it and throw a flag. You kill it. And you have an illegal substitution, which is a 5-yard penalty, because if you don't blow it dead and they have a play that goes off with 12 players, that's illegal participation, which is 15 yards. So we kill it if the snap is imminent. If we count 12, and I always count twice, and then I'll say, I'm the referee, I'm counting, and I say, Jordan, you've got too many, you got too many. What does that mean? You turn to your coach. Coach, you got one too many. So you're communicating. You're trying to be preventative. You try to get one off. If I haven't blown the ready for play, and it's been a timeout, and 12 players come onto the field, I'm not blowing the ready. I count 12. Hey, coach, get one off, please. So I'm not going to blow the ready. But if I can communicate, Jordan, you're one up, or Jordan, you're one down, you've got 10, and you go, coach, you're one down, you need one more. The snap can go off with 10. That's okay. If the snap goes off and there's 12, that's illegal participation. So we don't let the snap go off. We kill it. And by the way, I don't like it when people count with their finger. Count with your eyes. And I like to count in like groups. So if players leave the huddle, I count, 5 linemen, and then 3, and 3 is 11. So I count groups myself. By the way, when I was a wing, I was a horrifically bad counter. I was horrible. I told my white hat, I will count once per quarter. That's the best you get. Because I was so bad at it. All right. Rule 4. We're moving on. We've got 17 minutes. Rule 4, we've already talked about how the ball's put in play. I'm not going to go through the whistle because Eric's going to talk about the whistle. But whistle mechanics is one of the most important parts of your job as an official. There is a video that you will watch this week about the whistle, the player whistle, about the flag, about the beanbag. I actually teach you how to blow the whistle, and I talk about when you blow the whistle and when you don't. A lot of inadvertent whistles happen because an official blows the whistle, but they can't see the ball. They think they should blow the whistle, but they can't see the ball. And if you can't see the ball, how do you know it's dead by rule? So Eric is gonna, I want you to watch the video. It's called The Official's Whistle, I believe. When you're the covering official, you blow the whistle. If you're not, then don't blow. So another one of my pet peeves is a wing across the field that blows his whistle when the ball's downed in front of the opposite wing. Why the frick are you blowing your whistle? Just don't blow it. It's not your job.
I got yelled at for that by the coach. He's like, we're standing right here, I seen that, why didn't you throw that? I told him, sorry, that's not my side of the field. But yeah, the coach seen it on the other side, it wasn't called.
I would say my partner has a good look. Try not to say it's not my job, or I'm not looking over there. I have said to a coach, what have you seen from way over here? What do you think you saw from way over here? That's my way of saying this is way too far away. But it's better to say my partner had a good look. Try not to say that's not my job, because then you're throwing your partner under the bus. You're inferring that's his job and he screwed it up. Okay, so watch the video. I cover all this in the video. I'm not going to spend time on it, but we only want, most of the time, one whistle. If we have two whistles, that's kind of okay, but more than two whistles, more people are ball watching. The umpire should never blow his whistle unless it's a snap infraction. The umpire doesn't indicate the ball's dead about 99.9% of the time. So unless all the other officials don't blow their whistle, and let's say a runner's knee was down and the umpire could clearly see it and the wings missed it, then the umpire can blow his whistle. But most of the time the umpire is only going to use his voice when he officiates a football game. The wings are going to blow the whistle most of the time. I talk about a strong whistle. I talk about a tweet, tweet, tweet. Watch the video. All right. The ball is dead by rule. This is not an inclusive list. The ball is dead by rule for many reasons. And this is all in Rule 4. If there's a question about the ball being dead, go to Rule 4. And there's a whole list of the ball being dead by rule. The kick try fails, or Team B possesses the ball during a kick try. The rules book doesn't say Team R, it says Team B, but it's actually Team R. If there is a kick try, which means there's a touchdown, and then there is a kick try, and it's blocked, and Team B possesses the ball, it is dead. Team B cannot score. They can't run 90 yards down the field. They will try, and the kid with the ball is thinking, I'm going to date the head cheerleader. Ain't going to happen, because you're blowing it dead. Beep, 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 beep. It's dead. So Team B cannot score on a try. Can they score on a blocked field goal? Yes. Yes, they can. All right. When a loose ball goes out of bounds, this is an incorrect statement, by the way, and the rules book has not been changed. When a loose ball goes out of bounds, the out of bounds spot is fixed by the yard line where the foremost part of the ball crossed the sideline. When is that not true? What kind of fumble?
Forward fumble.
Forward fumble, out of bounds. The out of bounds spot is not fixed by where the ball went out of bounds. The ball goes back to the spot of the fumble. Okay? The ball is always marked ready for play inside the hash marks. I've already talked about that. And then there's a caveat for where Team A can, or Team K, can designate where the ball is placed between the hashes. If the ball is kicked out of bounds on a free kick, then it's always spotted on the hash closest to that sideline. It's always spotted there. And umpires always forget that, right, Tim? So you remind the umpire, got to be on that hash. But for a try, the team A can come out and go, hey, can we have the ball in the right hash? Or can we have the ball in the middle? So we'll put the ball down in the middle, and team A could say, sir, can we please have the ball on the right hash? You say, sure. Okay, Rule 5. I got 11 minutes. Rule 5 talks about the downs and the number of downs and the team possession after penalty. And a lot of it is common sense, but it's common sense because it's in the rules book. And if you're familiar with football, it makes sense. Okay? So, every team following a free kick, and scrimmage down, every team gets 4 downs to go 10 yards. There are some first touching caveats. First touching is a concept we'll talk about in Rule 6, first touching. And as a mechanic, we always want to start a new series on a yard line. The only time we don't do that, if it's 4th and short, and the runner does not gain a first down, and we spot the ball, and it's between the 2 hashes, we don't move the ball to the nearest hash, because the coach, if we move the ball, the coach will go, wait a minute, that's a first down. So, but 99.9% of the time, a fumble recovery, a scrimmage kick, a free kick, a turnover on downs, we try to put the nose of the football on a stripe, because we want the chains to go from the 11 to the 21 and not the 11 3/4 to the 21 3/4. So try to start a new series on the stripe. If it's first down and the runner gets 3.5 yards, your forward progress spot is going to be on the half-yard line. You don't have to start 2nd down, 3rd down, 4th down on a stripe. You just start a new series on a stripe. We talked about automatic first downs. So is defensive pass interference an automatic first down? No. Is a personal foul? What are the fouls that resulted in automatic first down? Roughing the quarterback, roughing the kicker, the snapper, the holder. Right, good. Those result in an automatic first down. So as a referee, I might say, personal foul, defense number 50. 10 yards from the previous spot, yardage results in a first down.
You're hopefully going to say 15. Go on.
Say that again?
15 yards from the previous.
What did I say?
10.
10? Thank you. See, Dean is on my crew because he is my Jiminy Cricket. So I tell my crew I can make 3 mistakes a game. That's mistake number 1. And they keep track. Yeah. Okay.
It's also worth noting that it's not roughing the quarterback.
Roughing the
It's
passer.
roughing the passer.
That's mistake 2.
That's mistake 2. Yeah.
If the quarterback takes the snap, tosses the ball to another player, and he throws the ball, he's the passer, he can be roughed, right? Okay.
Yes. He can be tackled roughly. Okay. There are some fouls that result in a loss of down, where the loss of down signal. So we're talking about 4 fouls, and Tim, you need to help me with this because I screwed it up last time. Illegal forward pass. Illegal forward handing.
Illegal touching.
Illegal touching.
Intentional ground.
That's an illegal.
That's an illegal forward pass. There's always one that I forget. Rule 5. Sorry. Somebody find it for me. Oh, everybody just, okay, here we go. Illegal handing the ball forward, illegal forward pass, illegal touching. So there's only 3. So, yeah, so I was okay. Okay, that was my 3rd mistake by saying there were 4. All right. Most times a down will be replayed after an accepted penalty unless it results in a first down. So holding, offense number 51, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, replay second down. Did I get that one right? Sweet. Okay. The line to gain in measurements, there is a chains video. You must, and I underline must, watch that video this week before we meet next Tuesday. Because I'm going to give you a change tutorial, and I will tell you that when you're a wing, 50% of the time you're going to be the head linesman. And when you do middle school or C squad or even JV, you will get either the sick, wounded, and leprous players, or the players who have been suspended, or I'm sorry, they're ineligible because of grades, so their GPA is like 0.5, and they're now on the chains. And you, if you don't know what the heck you're doing, and you've got a chain crew that doesn't know what the heck they're doing, it's just going to be horrendous for you. So you need to be a good chains person. You need to study the rule, or study how to run the chains. Watch the video. Watch it a bunch of times. All right, it is 7:55. We are not going to go with Rule 6. We're going to do that. Next week is the Eric McCormick Show. Come dressed to be able to run. Come with your whistle, your beanbag, and your flag with your refreshments. We're going to start here. Hopefully, we're going to be on the brand new field. If not, we'll be on the grass field, which is beyond the brand new field. But hopefully, we'll be on the brand new field. We will have pylons. We will have yard markers. We will have chains. And we'll start here. We're going to do AHA slides. Should we do it? Because we used to have 30 minutes. Yeah, we're not going to do AHA slides next week. But you still have to watch the videos. And we're going to start up here. We're going to do a little short presentation. And we're all going down to the field. And we're going to run around and have recess. And we're going to do the rest of the time down on the field. Questions? So if you have not done your week 2 stuff, and I know who you are, do your week 2 videos and your week 2 quiz, and then do your week 3 videos and your week 3 quiz, because those of you that blow it off, we will have to decide whether or not you get to take the test, because it's important to do these videos and the quizzes. Any questions? Randy, do you have anything? No. Dean, do you have anything? Tim, do you have anything? Okay, thank you.